We're back again, showcasing our characters here. The game is about to update with Ascending Tide. Most of us should have downloaded it already, but we're just waiting for the game to go live. That's it, the servers to open back up. Now I got two PvP matches here to showcase this build. The first one I'm just showing the damage, and the second one the damage too, but the second one is also to showcase an issue that is plaguing PvP and ESO in general. Has to do with toxicity, and it's in this match you're looking at right here. As always, we thank everybody checking us out. Welcome to Ghana Gamers. We're a family of gamers in Ghana who love all things anime and comic related in this game space. We'll continue our showcase of Dante of Sparda from Devil May Cry. This is our red trench coat wearing clad hero who uses a two-handed sword and uses two pistols, ebony and ivory. We made him a night elf, so he doesn't quite have that pale look to him, but he does manage to pull it off a little bit with the white hair. Our stats are about 3,500 stam. When we get going, it's about maybe almost 6k weapon damage and about 27, almost 28k health. So this first match is just showcasing the rotation and what we do. And the reason why we're showcasing this right before Ascending Tide is about to drop, because things are going to change a little bit. One being, most importantly, how cleave functions. Now, as you can see, cleave is my mainstay pressure ability. Now, I'm spamming the crossbow bolts, the pistol. I'm spamming that. That is my spammable. However, cleave is on such a short cooldown. It's 10 seconds. It's 3 stacks for 10 seconds. So it's nice, but I can't really focus on spamming anything else but that to keep it up at all times. Now, when this changes, there's going to be a huge pressure relief off me or anybody who uses cleave, because once you put it that first 3 times on it, that's a 30-second bleed that's going on somebody. Can't be cleansed. Nothing else can be done to it. You just got to try to heal through it and survive it, allowing you to spam other abilities. We're using, as shown in the PvE video, Streak is our main stun. We're using Riley with the Vadisron two-hander on our back bar, and we're using Dragon Guard Elite for our 5-piece set on our front bar, as well as Vicious Ophidian for our 5-piece set. This allows me huge stamina reserves. Now, we took out Execute here, and we put in the summoning ability, Summon Armor, the stamina version of it from the mag line, because this gives us 8% extra stamina. This is how we get up to almost 35k stamina. That plus 28k health or roundabouts will give you huge survivability and stopping power. Now, our penetration went up from the last video we had because we managed to max out our light armor, and we're using that to give us at least 8k of penetration in this build. If anybody's using any type of major breach, that goes up exponentially, but we don't do that. We don't have access to it in the sword kit set, so this is all just off the pure muscle here. As you can see, we go in with the charge. Well, first we soften them up with a few rounds from our crossbow bolts, which hits like a truck with this much stam and this much weapon damage. And then we'll go in with the charge, or we'll streak in the stun if it's a group like that, just to get them unawares and put pressure on them. So you see most of these guys have shields, they're blocking, and you see a little star effect that's going on when damage ticks on them. That's because they're blocking. And even though they're blocking, they can't really do much but block and try. They can't really fight because the pressure is so much. And when you're kicking out 1 million damage inside of a battleground, it leaves very little room for anybody to do anything but try to survive. And I got nuked down, which will happen from time to time. However, if you look at my damage, I'm already at 500,000 damage, and this match basically just started, right? So, as we go back in, you'll see my method is just the same. You use Streak to stun your opponents. Once you get out, you charge back in or soften them up with a few rounds from your crossbow, which hit pretty hard. And then you cleave 3 times to get the stacks on them. And once this Ascending Tide goes live, we will show you the difference between gameplay, as we're just using that just to basically keep a constant bleed on somebody, and then able to spam your other abilities like your Stampede as well as your crossbow bolts. So all these guys, like I said, they're just largely just blocking. They're avoiding a lot of damage. And without Execute, it can be a little annoying because like a lot of these guys, I could finish off if I had execute. That's just the truth of it. But I don't really have room on the bar for it because I do need Camouflage Hunter for the extra crit chance. Because with Dragon Guard Elite and that, I get up to about 55% crit chance. Because Dragon Guard Elite, obviously, once you do direct damage, you get up to 10 stacks, it gives you 2,700 extra crit chance. So 55% crit chance is good for PvE and PvP. But missing an execute does hurt. You notice that. I mean, I'm not gonna pretend like you don't. You definitely do. You notice that. However, all this extra crit damage that's going out, the crit, because the crit charge is obviously, or Stampede is obviously an auto crit, but the cleaves, those crit, and the crossbow bolts, those critting as well. That hurts. That causes severe problems for your opponents. And like I said, I could take out that, summoning armor and put Executioner there, which does damage, but I've tried it, and I'd rather miss out on the simple kills from the Executioner than I would from having the extra stam and damage from my light and heavy attacks from having the summon armor, the bound armor on there. Because being able to spam abilities with this, with the Vicious Ophidian, which gives you, that 8% cost reduction, it's huge. It's a huge part of the ability. You'll be able to just fire rounds endlessly. Most of these guys, they're running out of resources, just trying to survive, like blocking and, fighting back minimally as I streak and roll out the way. They run out of resources. So it's up to you, as the player, whether you feel like you can give that up. I couldn't give up Stampede. I couldn't give up Camouflage Hunter. I couldn't give up Cleave. I couldn't give up the crossbow, right? So there was nothing else I could give up to take in place for that. So I had to go with, replacing Executioner with this ability. Like, this guy would be dead if I had Executioner. Like, he's dead, obviously, right? Obviously, he's not sitting up there blocking that forever. I got the kill, but those extra seconds caused me to, take a little extra damage and to be in harm's way a little more than I typically would be. So it is a trade-off. We don't have as many slots, infinite slots here for all our abilities like other MMOs. We have 5 spots. And so what you decide to put on your bar is very critical to your playstyle and to how you perform in battle. Now, if you're checking this out, please comment, like, give a subscription, and let me know what you think. Should I sacrifice that extra 3K, 3.5K of stam for Executioner? Or should I stay the course? And for the extra damage and, a few more abilities, a few rolls, a few more spammable attacks. Let me know what you think. As we're coming to a close here, you see our front bar ultimate is Atronach. And I use the AoE one because it just really feeds into this. Like, all 3 of these guys right here, they fall victim to this because they're so close to Atronach, who does the AoE damage, and my cleave is AoE, my crossbow bolts, they're AoE silver shards. That's the AoE version morph of your crossbow from the the Fighter Guild bar. So they really play off each other really, really well. And if you're in PvE, you can put the champion points into your AoE as well as, the obvious crit damage and, single target damage you would use as well. And as we see here, I'm able to move around the field fairly easy, right? Because of streak, because I have so much stam, between streak and sprinting, there's nowhere I really can't be if I want to be, right? I can sprint anywhere, roll, streak out, and most people aren't going to be able to catch it. It just won't be fast enough. This gives me ability to help out teammates like this guy over here, or see guys who are low, charge back in, start cleaving all over again, and boom, my ult's back up, all over again. And so it's kind of like a rinse and repeat type thing, right? You just wait for your Atronach. But on the back bar, we got Berserker Slash from the 2-handed ult ability, because even using that, it's a little cheaper in your ultimate, but it gives you that, I use that Berserker version because it gives you immunity to stun or knockback. So I got a ton of assists in that one, but the damage was real. The damage was real. I even outpaced the guy who had 16 kills. He had more kills than me, but I had 23 assists. And kills and assists are basically the same amount of points in this type of game, in PvP. So this brings us to our second match, where we're doing the exact same thing we were doing in our first match. Now this group is less tanky less shield users, more damage dealers, which is, cool for me. It makes it easier to bring my targets down. But this is the one where I wanted to address an issue, and you'll see it when we get to it. Again, we're keeping the same methodology here. We soften them up with a few crossbow bolts, and that's me just backing off using Dark Exchange to get my stand back up. But we soften them with a few crossbow bolts, and then we'll either streak or stampede in, depending on the situation, and start cleaving and get those stacks on them. I can't wait to do the next video where you see me being able to put cleave on them, allowing that bleed to soak into them for 30 seconds, and just sitting back and firing crossbow bolts into my bleeding targets, and not having to worry about keeping those stacks up. That's going to be lovely. Won't be long now before the servers go live. So, as we see, all we're doing is just spamming crossbow bolts. That's the mainstay of this build. Because if you ever read the anime, if you ever watched the anime or read the comic book that had Dante of Sparda in it, you know that he shoots a lot. I mean, the two-hander does its business, it does its due. However, it's the shooting that is really how he really opens things up. Seriously, that's just what he does. It's like a mainstay of his. Ebony and Ivory there. So you see that guy I just killed right there, Azrael Sent, right? And I bring his name. I wasn't going to actually play any footage that had his name in it. I was going to blot it out. But I noticed something when I was on Facebook on an ESO community page. And what I noticed was the same issue you'll see here. So that guy you saw, if anybody who knows me or seen any of my videos, I don't teabag people. I'm not really into trying to be malicious in any way. I'm here to have a good time. And I just use my back bar ability there to give me a little extra oomph. And this guy, he just was really pressed to kill me. And so I managed to survive that, and kill him anyway. So at this point, when this happens, and this happens to anybody who plays PvP enough, and if you have any modicum of success at it, it's going to happen. It doesn't really bother me in a sense, in that sense, it's just going to happen. We get hate mail, right? People will take the time out of playing, and they'll send you a private message, just to tell you how much they dislike you for whatever happened to you, whatever offense they felt like happened. Now, the reason why I brought up the guy earlier, the Azrael Sent guy, was because he's the guy who actually sends the message. And as you saw, I didn't do anything, I didn't focus him or do anything. He was just a bystander. He was collateral damage to me. I'm just trying to win the match, right? Just fighting like everybody else does, just trying to win the match. Doing my best to try to survive here as I'm getting killed right there. And I'm doing okay. I'm 9-1. Got 500,000 damage so far. As you'll notice, at the end of the match, we'll consistently get over 1 million damage in this build because it does solid damage in PvE and in PvP, as explained. And we're going to see if that holds true for the upcoming update here. Now, as we're going forward, just keep watching. You'll see exactly what I was talking about in the issue here that I was complaining about. There's a message right there from Azrael Boss. 2 X's, Azrael Boss, 2 more X's, right? And as I said before, I wasn't actually going to play his name. I was just going to speak on the issue of people sending private messages, taking time out their life to message. However, when I was in Facebook on a community group that I post in from time to time, I noticed some guy who was playing a werewolf and said, this guy sent me hate mail for no reason. There it is. He's like, I don't know this guy. He just sent me hate mail and was just like saying horrible things to me for no reason. He did terrible and was like mad at me. The funny thing about this guy is, in particular, which is why I'm blasting him, he was on my friend list. This was a friend of mine, right? Now, I only played with them one time, right? We were doing some dungeon somewhere, and he was trying to help with it. We didn't complete the hard mode of the dungeon. We didn't get to do that. But, he got on our friend list, me and a few others, and, yeah, we were cool. I saw him on from time to time, no big thing. Like I said, a few months back, just played with him that one time. From that little exchange right there, he decided to send me a message telling me how he's glad he didn't carry me through the dungeon, and, and his other friend who was in there too, which I guess was the guy who was chasing me, trying to kill me down and died. He wanted to help me through a hard mode of Sunspire or whatever have you, but nope, not now. I guess because I didn't just lie down and let you kill me in a PvP match. Like, what was I supposed to do? Just let you kill me? I don't get it. Regardless of that, the issue here is, like I said, the toxicity of players. There's no need to sit up there and take your time to send a message. I don't mind so much, but it is definitely off-putting to people. We all enjoy this game. We're all playing this game. We're having a good time. Why take your time to send messages to somebody who you don't even know? Or in the case of me, somebody who you do know. Complaining about VCR and, other stuff. I've done all those dungeons. I have the hard mode completing all those dungeons. He would know that if he actually played with me, but he doesn't. And he's just ranting or venting. It's okay to get frustrated in games. I get frustrated. We all do. What's not okay is to simply take your frustrations out on another player who you do know or maybe not know and decide that this person is the issue with everything that I got going on here, right? So 13-1, over 1 million damage, and this guy, like I said, is just mad. Thank you for tuning in again. Take care.